105.9 Academy FM.
The sound of Folkestone.
Hi, my name is Tristan and I'm interested in how you become an elite athlete. So I spoke to Darren Malloy, who is the head of the Folkestone Rugby Academy. He used to play for Wasps for 12 years and he also played for England. I started by asking him, where do people train to get fit?
There's a whole different way of training. With a lot of football and rugby endurance athletes, they have to weight train to build up their muscular strength, as well as obviously do their aerobic training, playing football and maybe going on longer runs and doing interval sessions. So yeah, they train in a variety of places. Majority of professional clubs will try and replicate the training for their training sessions. So our football club will train on grass instead of going onto a treadmill or onto a track. Same with rugby, they would use that sort of the actual pitches that they would use to do their fitness work on as well. So it replicates when it comes to games day that they will be training on that sort of soil as well. So it's pretty much depending on what training they're doing. So if they're wanting to build muscular strength, they would go into a gym. But most of their fitness work would be done on a grass pitch.
Are sports drinks any good to help you train or perform?
There is evidence out there that they actually do help you with the electrolytes, which means you can digest the water or the fluids quicker, and it replaces some salts and minerals that your body needs to function. To be honest, it depends on the athlete, really. It depends on what the athlete wants. Some athletes, when they're working to extreme levels, the only thing they can digest is water. So it depends, really. The main issue there is that they just get fluids in. So if they just want water, they drink water. If it is a case that they need something with a little bit extra to aid recovery, then they will have that. But it's all dependent on taste. Me personally, I didn't like the taste of the drink, so my main drink was water.
What's the kindest exercise for your body?
I guess the kindest exercise would be swimming. Swimming, you're using all the muscles in your body, and it's also good aerobic training, and it's good for muscular strength and flexibility as well. Yeah. So for all-round training, probably swimming. The only trouble with swimming, it can be quite difficult to get your heart rate up into extreme zones, the anaerobic zones. So if you're sprinting, that means your heart rate will be in the anaerobic zone, so you're using the energy in your muscles to fuel your body. So for things, if you need to go into them extreme training zones, then maybe jumping on a bike, which again is low impact, would be good for you. Anything to keep you off your joints, so anything that maybe not running based is good for you.
What do you mean by anaerobic?
If you imagine your heart rate, most people's heart rate when they rest is between 40 and 60. So if you take your heart rate now, your heart rate will be between 40 and 60 beats per minute. When you go for a sprint, your heart rate will shoot up. It will go up to anything above 180 beats per minute plus. So that means your heart's working really hard, beating really hard to get that oxygen blood around your body, which will then fuel your muscles. So when you're working anaerobically, you're using the muscles' energy system, so the glycogen in the muscles, to fuel the muscles to make them work. So it's really sprinting. So if you go for a sprint, 100 metres, what happens to your legs if I ask you to sprint 100 metres? What do you feel in your legs?
You feel like they feel like jelly after you've just sprinted and stuff.
Yeah, the reason they feel like jelly is because the lactic acids build up in your legs because you used all the energy in your legs. So basically, your body's trying to react to fuel your muscles again. So yeah, anaerobic means you're training as hard as you can for a short burst of time. Okay.
Can you train your brain to become a better athlete?
Definitely. If you look at elite sport at the moment, the England rugby team have always used psychologists. Cricket teams always use psychologists for the last 10, 15 years. And, there's got to be a correlation between using a psychologist to use your brain and the level that we're actually starting to play at, especially at cricket and rugby in the past 10 years have played at a really high level. So yeah, I think if you understand your feelings, your emotions and your thought processes, it will definitely help you in different situations. So yeah, no, definitely you need to train that brain.
What are they actually teaching the team to do?
There's a number of different ways you can use psychologists. One is to control your emotions. So sometimes if you're playing a big sporting event, you will get butterflies in your tummies. You may feel really nervous, you feel your heart pumping, and really, have you had that situation, Tristan, where you feel like your heart's going to beat out your chest, and you feel really, tummy feels really tight? They give you exercises and different coping strategies so you can start relaxing and controlling your emotions. So when you go on the pitch, you're actually in your peak performance. Another training method they would use is to control your anger sometimes, in different situations. If the referee gives a tough call against your team, you see some players react differently to that. They will give you a coping strategy, so you would just accept it and you'll keep your mind on the game. So instead of having 5 seconds where you're just ranting and raving and maybe shouting at yourself, they will actually give you coping strategies to say, right, forget that, let's just get on with something else now, let's get on with the next job. So that's 2 good reasons to use a psychologist. It also gives you goal settings. So instead of me going onto a pitch and saying, I'm going to run around as hard as I can for 80 minutes, it would actually say, okay, I'm going to go onto the pitch and I'm going to make 10 tackles. So it will give you something to actually focus on. And that will actually, it's called goal setting, and it will actually give you different stages of the game, and give you actual focus on each different parts of the game. So it's a very good model to use to keep yourself focused and keep yourself in the game.
What's the best way to help your body recover?
That's quite a horrible question, because at the moment the way people recover is they jump into a bath full of ice. And the idea is the ice stops the swelling, the muscle swelling, and it gets rid of that lactic acid. Again, the lactic acid is just a build-up of rubbish in your muscles from when you use them really hard. So, the idea is you jump in a bath of ice for 5 minutes, and that will help you recover. There's also different ways of stretching. Once you finish training, if you warm down in your PE lessons, you might hear the teacher say, okay, just go for a lap round nice and slow, and then stretch, and that's again the idea is to help your muscles recover, and help get rid of that lactic acid build up, and so your muscles can make sure they're nice and refreshed and when you come to train again or play again. I have an experience personally we went on a pre-season tour to Poland, and they had 2 big fridges or freezers, and the temperature was -60 and the other one was -80, and you spent 2 minutes walking around in a circle. You had to walk, otherwise you would just freeze, and then they send you into the -80 for a minute, and then you come out and you're refreshed, and that was horrible. So I try not to talk about that too much, but the ice and stretching is the main thing if you've got any injuries as well.
Can you buy special clothes for your sport, and do they help you to be better at it?
There's a lot of research at the moment with these compression lycras that it helps reduce the swelling. So if you train, it helps aid recovery. The idea is that you don't want to stop the blood going into an area that you've worked on, but you don't want too much blood in there. You don't want it to swell up, and then it will, it'll take time for the swelling to go down. So when you've trained, the idea, if you put these compression clothes on the skins or whatever, it will keep the swelling to a minimum, but it will also aid recovery. Obviously, there's a lot of research out there for prevention. So in rugby, they wear shoulder pads, football shin pads, whatever, which is more prevention than a cure. So there is sports clothing out there that you would obviously would help a performance out. Again, it's a personal choice if you wanted to wear the clothing or not, or the padding or not. Some people can't play with padding on, so it's a personal choice.
And thanks, Mr. Malloy, for talking to me.